So good to have your company, especially right now with this new movie that's coming out that's called Risen. There's a young man that's in that movie that you might know, and that is Joseph Fiennes.
Yeah, he's joining us this morning on Skype from DC. Good morning.
Good morning, Alison. Good morning, Rob. No, I don't feel quite so young, but thank you for the introduction.
Now, help me out with this. I was doing a little research and I found your full name. It's not just Joe Fiennes. What is your full name?
My full name is a theatrical tongue twister. It's good for actors to warm up before they go up on stage. My full name is Joseph Albrecht Twistleton Wickham Fiennes. There you go.
Wow.
How about signing a check with that name? I tell you,
Really, right? You have like three middle names?
it's a triple barrel. Yeah, you're right.
That's so cool. Now, I have to admit that the 19-year-old me would be really envious of the 36-year-old me because I just loved Shakespeare in Love, which came out in 1998. It was Best Picture. Do you still get a lot of people recognizing you from that film?
Yeah, I do. It was an amazing experience, and it was, I have to say, one of the most joyous. Not because of the success, but just because of the process involved and the actors that we were working with. Was one of the most joyous experiences, and it kind of translated into the movie. And I do occasionally, get people recognizing me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure back in 1999 when you were one of the most, 50 most beautiful people in the world that you're really recognized then. What was that like, being named one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world?
Well, if only they knew the real truth, I don't know. Beauty's only skin deep.
Well, I know what is beautiful, and that is your family. You have two beautiful daughters.
I do. Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, very, very happy with my experiencing parenthood. It's the biggest blessing in my life thus far, as well as being with my wife.
How old are they now?
They are four, just turned four, and coming up to 6.
Wow.
How time flies.
Well, wait till they're 16 asking for the car and then boyfriends, dude.
Well, don't. Wait, I'm just going to do this while you talk.
I know, right? Yeah, he's putting his fingers in his ears. Hey, you come from a huge family. Is it like 6 brothers and sisters all together?
That's right. It's 7. Yeah, 6 under 7. And my mother fostered my elder brother at a young age, and that's the family dynamic. A whole bunch of us, crazy supper times.
How does that make who you are today, growing up in such a huge family like that?
I don't know, being the youngest, you kind of want to be heard. I kind of feel the result is which I eat my food very fast because I felt very threatened at the table that my food would be taken away from me.
So here we are from the 90s into 2016 and a movie that's coming out, Risen.
Yeah, Risen, extraordinary film, centers around a Roman tribune who's charged by Pontius Pilate to go and assist in the crucifixion of Christ, which he does. And then he's told the next day that he has to go and find the body because in Judea at that time there were lots of uprisings and lots of people claiming to be the Messiah. And so it wasn't sort of new news that they would threaten that the body would be resurrected. And in the Roman, especially in this protagonist's eyes, Clavius, it's all a hoax to him. So he has to go and find this body and disprove this idea that he will rise again, but he can't find the body. So it turns out to be a wonderful kind of ticking clock of a detective story, and also I feel is very honest and truthful to the word in Scripture at the same time. So there's a wonderful dance between what is written and what we serve up in a fictionalized version in the film.
It's been described as, where the Passion of the Christ left off, and you play this non-believer. So is that what makes this different? Because obviously the resurrection, we've seen that on the big screen before, but is your role in this what makes this so special?
Well, you're right. I mean, in many ways, you could say it's the follow-up, just in terms of the chronological order of events. And it's amazing since the Passion that no film has decided to portray, as we have done, the crucifixion, then the resurrection, and the ascension. And that's what we get into here. So it's but we get into it through the angle and lens of a non-believer, a Roman soldier. And well, I don't want to give anything away, but it gets incredibly interesting halfway through.
Mm. But is it biblically accurate, or how important was that to you for it to be biblically accurate?
Well, I believe so, and everyone will have their own personal point of views on this. I think I understand that our producers, writers, and director worked hard and diligently with pastors and the church community in this, and achieved, I feel, a very respectful portrayal of what is written. But again, we have to remind ourselves that as soon as you film or even relay a story, even verbally, let alone with camera and lenses, there's always going to be a sense of adaptation. So we have to give ourselves over to the idea that if you're going to do a film, it's going to be strictly, as to the word as possible. But at the same time, by virtue of it being a camera lens, lighting, editing, music, there's a sense of the audience being shifted and directed and moved. But I feel that balance between offering a great cinematic experience and being true to Scripture, I feel it's as bang on as a film is ever portrayed.
Clavius is a non-believer, and I know you don't want to give, the whole film away, but does he find Jesus in more than one way, or are his beliefs changed?
Well, there's many angles for me that I could pull from this film. There's one interesting thread, which is essentially it's the idea for me that in the film Pilate represents the father. He in terms of the Roman army and the values, he's a father figure to Clavius. And then there's an irrevocable shock in his life. He witnesses something that he can't compute and can't really deal with, and that's the second part of the movie. But in that, he divorces himself from his Roman attitudes and takes on another father, if you like. So it becomes he's theologically looking another way and adopts another father figure, or at least he begins to. I don't know if he's completely converted, but he's reduced. He's a man who's conditioned heavily in military Roman warfare and the way that they thought in those terms, in terms of their gods. Mars was his god. And then with this irrevocable shock and witnessing of events, he's challenged. His conditioning is challenged. So we see a man that is reduced, and we almost, I guess, leave the movie where it's up to the audience to really think, well, what happens next? But I think it's clear that he's a changed man for the good.
It sounds like it's going to be phenomenal. Risen coming to theaters. Joseph Fiennes, I'm so grateful for the time that you've had to give it to us this afternoon and this morning. And enjoy the snow in Washington, D.C. You might as well play in it while it's there.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alice and Rob.